What y'all doing? I'm just marinating, thinking about life and other things. And I just decided that I would come on. So I hope y'all are happy, all one and a half of you, to see me. What if I told you, right, that you are present in a different dimension at the same time of you being present where you're at? Not just social media wise, because that would mean that we are present everywhere where there's satellite, right? That's what that would mean. Everywhere that they could view something because they have satellite or access to satellite means that if you upload something on the World Wide Web, that is viewable by different types of beings. So that makes you multi-dimensional in a sense. And some of you seen my latest upload. That's an upload, not a release. So since you watched it, you understand what I'm talking about because Harakuta is a real being, just like Lucifer, just like Baal, Thanos, Cerberus, Beelzebub. All of these archangels are real someplace. You know, so it's like when you say, I'm Satan, and Satan know that you're not Satan, because he's Satan, you know, it's like, well, that has a lot to do with me. You could thank me. Because they were locked out of a certain universe. And because they were locked out of a certain universe, all of us got distortion. Now you understand when I say you are in distortion. That means you're present somewhere where everything is distorted. The belief system, the views, life. I had a thought when I was on my channel, right? Observing. And some of you, you know that what I'm talking about is on the up and up because you are one of many that don't buy views. You know, you know somewhat of what I'm experiencing when it comes down to do with this channel. Because you're experiencing it too. Others of you, you don't understand that your content is displayed any given moment where I could be, where it's less views. So you may be seeing 1,300 views, 3,200 views, 32,000 views. But when I get a certain place and I see you come up on my timeline, I see your actual view count. You can't see it, but I can see it. So what if I told you that others know your actual view count even though you don't? The thing about hacking a system, because that's what y'all do, you are purchasing your coworkers' eyes. Then you go out saying, why is this happening to me? One of y'all had the notion, if they come on the gram, I'm doing it this time because I need to be seen first. You've already been seen first. That's why you don't have a $ by your name. You've been seen first. They know what it is with you, and it's all good. It's important, you know why? Because I know what's finna happen. I seen a content creator say, You have in his title, you have 1 year to prepare. I said, you think? One. That's generous. You have 1 year to prepare for what's taking place. I said, one. That's far-fetched. That's the word that they like to use when it comes down to what I'm talking about. That is actual factual. You know what I'm saying? Uh, that's far-fetched. And then you start saying, wait a minute, Harakute, that's a Natura. And I'm saying, yes, 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 he is. Now it makes sense. Beings don't demise. Not their being. That when you say I am a being, that means you are forevermore. What are you talking about, Ether? That means beings have to be put somewhere else. Are they where you are? It is more than just, wait, if you could be moved, if I could be moved, it's not like that. It's not just cut and dry, one thing for another. They wish it was like that. If they got what they wished, then they would be in your body. Now say that's far-fetched. Y'all keep saying, what is Het Heru? Ha ha ha! Is that a hostile takeover? something kind of like. Y'all running around saying, I'm Het Heru. Not yet. Not yet. But I can tell you the exact time and day if you pay me. Y'all don't like that. Does Ethan know what's happening? Ethan told you what was going to happen in 3 of the YNR reviews. But that has everybody. I know. Even the astrologers are saying this is phenomenal work because, you know, everything is accurate up to this point. Y'all do know December is coming up really quickly. I'm sitting here, you know, because I said, at this point, it's whatever. You know, when somebody like me say it's whatever, you know, it's like, whatever. You know what I'm talking about? Sometimes you don't realize how left field somebody could go until they stuck in between a rock and a hard place. Then you start seeing a side of them that you never seen. A lot of you realize saying that you're my family spiritually is not a good thing. What you want is for me to respond like your cousin and them do when you do it to them. Y'all don't realize that these family gatherings is some of those individuals that's attempting to talk to you in your mind, your mom's mind, your children, and all of that stuff. I'm not upset about it. I'm all right. I'm just getting my hours like everybody else. It's just mine's is different because of who I am. I understand that. You know, there was some content that I seen. It was on the book. It was about 10 years ago, right? And this lady, she was filming. She had like a sash garb, you know, like in ancient Roman times. She had one of those garbs on. She had a ski ball head, you know, a Sinead O'Connor. She was extremely beautiful. You would say she was Anglo-Saxon. And everything in her background was like a cloudy night, but it was daytime. And she said, I don't know what's happening here. You know, there was a brief moment, and y'all, some of y'all seen the cause y'all be on the gram, you know, especially if I've been over there on your channel, you know, y'all seen the owl, the 6 foot. I mean, she was about every bit as tall as that woman. the Anglo-Saxon woman. The owl was. Now you're used to the little, they're huge, but they're huge to be flying creatures. But could you imagine an owl as tall as you? And it was an AI. The same with some of these dogs. Now, because these Carusos are on the ground, everybody knows to call pits Carusos now, but before they were just pit bulls. Y'all see how that, you say, well, where were they were originals, just like Rottweilers. When I say those are HELL hounds, I mean that. They were bred for them, elect ones. This is the reason why they are like that. I know that someone got attacked by their own one yesterday. And then again this afternoon. I can make a dog howl from right here. What I'm saying is that we are in a different time. We are absolutely in a different time. Those of you that have been thinking different, moving different, ever since you noticed that what you thought was a moon early in the morning out and the sun rising, you see something is different. I said I was in a place where I seen 2 suns and a moon during the daytime. Some of that went right over your head. I had to take pictures of this stuff because if I don't take pictures, they'll say that didn't happen. That didn't happen. That's AI. That's it. Because you don't want to believe that this stuff is possible until it's in the movies. You ever notice how certain people don't care about making wealthy people wealthier? But when it comes down to someone that is like them, they don't want to do that. It's like y'all put these movie producers on a pedestal because you don't know who they are until they announce who they are. And then if they start doing stuff like going live, then you'll bring them down to where you're at because they're accessible, not touchable. They're only touchable to their circle. And this is the reason why y'all are being infiltrated. Y'all feel like that's not happening here. That is not this. And when I told you the Big G not playing with absolutely nobody, he don't care who you is. I'm one of these individuals that feel like I don't have to say, believe me, please believe me, please believe. I don't have to say that because it plays out. And I just sit back and I just be like, It's just everything that I've said since the duration of this channel has been playing out over and over and over and over. Even when I'm not paying attention, even when I'm asleep, when I'm sitting on the toilet, when I'm driving, everything that I'm talking about, intuiting, channeling is playing out somewhere with someone. And for most of y'all, several bunches of individuals all at the same time. People have become so engulfed in their feelings after watching my content because they're saying, how does she know this? Does she do spell? And I'm like, I'm not the one doing it. You doing it. I don't have to. I'm not going to be the only one in their feelings and emotions. It's going to be a whole bunch of people in their feelings and emotions. Now you're thinking about the panoramic. You should be. Because when the Big G say, don't do that, he mean it. When he say things like, do that, y'all do the opposite, especially you dudes. I already told y'all how I feel, right? At least the females will think twice You know, if they don't have you in their ear, womp, 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 sassafras, promising to be there with them forever and ever and ever. So you know, don't worry about it, boo thing, cutty, cheeks, whatever y'all choose to call them. Don't worry about it, because when you go down, I'm gonna be right by your side. We're going down together. And then he at your friend house, and they both laughing at you. Girl, you should have known, cause he like me. It's this snatch way too good. Flip of the hair. That's not yours. It's a serious time. We you know we in that waning phase. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? Mother maiden crone. We in that crone phase. Burr. You know what I'm talking about? It's cold in here. We in that phase. I'm enjoying it. I'm one. I'm one of them. When I said why the curtain haven't dropped, y'all remember that? Y'all remember that flick? I always the Big G always do it because he don't want me to say it. He don't want me to say it because of who is associated with, right? Who the producer is and some of the actors, right? Yeah, it was a movie, and when he got to the end, everybody knew that they was in a movie because the curtain dropped and then you see nothing but set behind them. Not set, not set. I see ka, not set the natura, you know, but the set like production. Everyone knew then that it was a production, but you going through it like, you know, it's famine. You got to brawl for your life, you know. You want a victory, but you don't know who to trust. Where he go? We don't know. It's you and God right now. And God is not saying absolutely not that. So it's you by yourself. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, it was so many shorts that came out. You know, I seen one yesterday where a woman opened up the door, right? And it was a female, right? Bringing her dude a plate. When she was bringing her dude, her husband, whatever he is, a plate because she said he told me that you wasn't cooking, right? And he walked up behind her and said, I ain't say nothing. You know, he a comedian, right? And a truck driver. So he walked up behind her and he say, I ain't told her nothing, you know. And I'm laughing because her eyes is like, I'm like, is she one of them? Because we just was talking about freckles, right? This is how this is how it happened, right? Me and Archangels, we sitting there talking about freckles, and then I see somebody with freckles, right? So this is how it happened. I don't be searching for it, I promise you. Just be right here. I be trying to move it out the way. I'm trying to sleep. Get out my way. You know, but it's like I'm sitting right here in front of you, and then a horn will go off. Burr. You know, I don't want to be bothered right now. Burr, 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 burr. You know what I'm saying? Somebody back up, you know. Is they gonna come through the is they gonna come through the wall back up, you know what I'm saying? Lights all in the house and everything, you know what I'm saying? It was funny, right? Because she was just sitting there and she was like, yo, man said, your man said you wasn't cooking, right? And she say, the woman said, I did cook. And she said, well, what you cooked then? Yeah. She had a pot of greens there, you know what I'm saying? Like a pan of greens. It was funny because we know that people are not really doing that, not in this age. And she said she was going to the HOA on him because they not neighborly. You know, they want you out the neighborhood because you're not sharing and caring. You know what I'm saying? Where y'all get that one from? You know, some couples, they just be staying together because the money be good for that time. And then all of a sudden, where did Larry go? I mean, Reed, I don't know, because is that even his name? You know what I'm saying? It's just an example. I'm not really talking about them per se, maybe. You know, maybe not. You know what I'm saying? Because every time I talk about Class A, Class B, and air brakes and all of that, and my readings, some of y'all be like, why is she so informative? Why is so descriptive? And it's because I know who deals in that field. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I said air brakes. That's what I said. I told y'all that, you know, before I decided to say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and take this professional school bus course, I was going in there saying I was going to be a truck driver. I said, all mine is teenagers right now. You know, I'm about to hit the road. I went in there and the man that was doing the interview, because you do got to be interviewed, right? The man that was doing the interview, he say, let me tell you, you know, because he knew I ain't had nobody tell me. He said, let me tell you, the only ones that really make money is the ones that stay gone. You're not really going to make no money locally unless you get in with a company. He said like this, if you get this license, you'll always have a job. That you got me right there. You know, when people talk to you, they know what to say. They just switch your whole thought process. Just instantly, like, there it is. You got me right there. I thought I imagined I was gonna be in the cab sleep. You know what I'm saying? But you don't have to lift none of that stuff. You got forklifts. You got, you know, they'll train me for that forklift driving. Or, you know, nowadays you just, you know, scoop and push. Scoop and push. He said, you was gonna, yeah, I sure was, because at that time I was like, who make the most money? I don't want to be around people no more like that. My whole life has been customer service. I want to go a different route, and here it is. I'm with y'all cheering. I say I don't want to be with y'all. Now I'm with y'all cheering. I drove for Napa Unified. It's different out there, y'all. It's different. So it's like you think, what do always. I mean, I imagine if I go and get that license back, I will always have a job. But, you know, do you know how hard it is driving for a living? I remember one time I got one of them ticks. Put an it after that. It was like, you know, I was just like, what, 10 miles over the speed limit. Just not, you know, nothing, but I was right in the middle of rush hour. You know. It was, you know, probably like what, $100 ticket maybe. You know, I was commuting, you know. It was one of them days. And I was just like, I do not want to be on the road for an hour and a half. Well, turns out I should have wanted to be on the road for an hour and a half. Because when I said vroom, they said vroom. And I said, where did you? And it's like all the cars would stop except mine. All of them would stop, but mine was just a moving target. He said, pull over, that too fat. And I was like, how you know, how fast was I going? Because, you know, this car a little bit old, you know. This car old, so I couldn't have been going that fast. I had to pay $250 250 or 265. 200. Why is it important? Look, now you take the factor and when you commute, that means you got other variables to getting where you gotta go. I wasn't even driving then. Like, I just still had the license. You know, I said, ain't no way. I said, if I keep this and I make a mistake, that's all that investment gone. Because usually when you get a professional driver's license, you want to be able to use that in the future. You know, when you talk about professional school bus driving, that's for a lot of people that's retired. When they retire from their major source, they say, I need to go back. Let me go into this. For those that are still in good standing. So I said, I'm just gonna give it up. That was the only speeding ticket I ever got out of my whole life. So it's like, this is what happens to certain beings, you know, and I'm not the only one, and it has something to do with being a cherub, but I'm not the only angel, because y'all don't like to say that. Y'all will call me a beezy. Y'all will call me a high priestess, a witch. But when it comes down to me being called an angel, y'all don't want to do that. And I'm starting to wonder why. When I say I'm not I'm not a witch. I'm not this. I'm not a high priestess. I didn't say I'm not that. I ain't even said I was a divine feminine. I said I was an angel that was a cherub. And when I say that I'm something, y'all want to say I'm not it. And I'm tired of that. You not gonna tell me what I am. The same thing happened when I said I am Choctaw. They said, no, you're not. You're African. I am not African. All your life, somebody will try to make you something that you are not. When you're telling them that what it is people are so used to being lied to, that when someone like myself, they encounter someone like myself, they always want to peel back the onions. And if I show no emotion, that means I'm lying in their minds. I should want to I should want to have to defend their lies against me. I'm not the one that's gonna cry. This is my crash out right here. This is what you're gonna get when Ether crashes out. I'm for sure about it. I'm for sure about it. You're gonna get this version. If I shed a tear, that means somebody gone. I'm for sure about it. He gone. She gone. You know what I'm talking about? The reason why I'm up there is because I keep telling y'all. I said, Big G, you're gonna send my whole world into an uproar for a whole bunch of people that do not give two shakes of a cat's tail about me or anyone else. Here it is, my whole life I done spent doing some type of service for somebody. And you still got me in a chokehold. I said, what would be fulfilling is for what happened to me to happen to each and every last one of them that wanted it for me and my heritage. Y'all didn't realize, right? What makes it even, what makes it even worse, y'all, for my true supporters is, 'cause y'all didn't realize, right? What makes it even worse, y'all, for my true supporters is, 'cause y'all didn't realize, right? What makes it even worse, y'all, for my true supporters is, 'cause y'all didn't realize, right? What makes it even worse, y'all, for my true supporters is, 'cause y'all didn't realize, right? What makes it even worse, y'all, for my true supporters is, 'cause y'all didn't realize, right? What makes it even worse, y'all, for my true supporters is, 'cause y'all didn't realize, right? What makes it even worse, y'all, for my true supporters is, 'cause y'all didn't realize, right? What makes it even worse, y'all, for my true supporters is, 'cause y'all didn't realize, right? What makes it even worse, y'all, for my true supporters is, 'cause y'all didn't realize, right? What makes it even worse, y'all, for my true supporters is, 'cause y'all didn't realize, right? What mak The ones that believe no one from 5 years ago is still watching, because if they were still watching, I would still be at 50,000 views a month. Wah, 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 right? What makes it worse is that they feel like the karmic feel. They're getting little jewels and gems from what I'm talking about. They want to use it. They're skeptical. They don't know if I'm sitting here changing my voice like they want to do when they present it. Some of them are saying, I don't think I should do that. And I'm saying, you are right. Because when I said Nasakanatin Nasashakati, Natara is welcome here, when you say it, you better be ready. I'm for sure about it. Because, there's a group, right, that felt like when I said something, when I moved a certain way, when it came down to my spiritual spouse, that was all she wrote. Now y'all acting brand new. What y'all gotta understand, I done told you several times, I wouldn't give two F's if he left where he at right now and hopped off in somebody else's bed, because that is not what this is about. Why? Why? Because I'm not. I didn't surpass that. I didn't surpass that. Y'all can't fathom that, because it's all about possession, possession, possession. Yes, I get lonely, but that's not what a spiritual spouse is for. It's for times like this, and in the coming months, I say within the next 6 years, a lot of you are going to realize it. So just playlist this. Now, for those of you that know that things are different because of your finances, I suggest that you become a member and a subscriber. That's my suggestion to you, especially other readers. If you know you're not, if you know you're not, barring nothing from my work, you haven't did it in the past, you're not thinking about doing it, but you're getting something that's saying this is in alignment with what Ether is saying, you need to just go ahead. It was one that I knew was on my channel because she did not hide that it was her. Now, whether or not if it was actually this content creator is still up for question. Because usually, content creators do not subscribe to other content creators that are readers with their image and their channel name. I did. But everyone ain't like me. Because I feel like there's nothing to hide. If we all have a union type of approach to what is taking place with our career, then it'll be easier. Now, those of you that are onlookers, I just said that. So I don't want to hear nothing about Ether is hard to work with, Ether is doing this, Ether is doing that, because everybody wants to blame me, but I'm not the one with 100,000 views in a week. Now, you can't put the blame on me. You got to put the blame on the ones that got $100,000 into $100,000 a week. That's what you got to do. $100,000 a year, 100,000 views in 2 hours does not equate 100,000 a year. I done told you you would be a billionaire if you were getting 100,000 views in a week every week. The general public does not realize this, but I am behind the scenes, so I know. I want to tell so much, right, about what I know is going to take place in the future and what y'all know is going to take place in the future because you know I'm saying it. But I'm not. This information is going to my members because they're paying for it. They're paying to see it first. When I said if I could get 10 people to donate, I'll do a collective universe reading. One person donated. And that is because this individual wanted me to be able to eat on Thanksgiving. Nobody else cared. I'm going to tell you that you are actually correct. I'm saying Big G, just, do what it is, do what it is you going to do. Because I was saying that 3 years ago. Because I already knew. If I would have known 3 years ago that I'd be going through this right here, and he want me to be able to say, donate here, donate there. You think I would have been in agreement with this? He not gonna tell you in 3 years from now, you gonna be going through it. It's gonna slide in so easy. You gonna say, by the time some of y'all, a month after you realize that he done slid it in on you, it's not just angels, it's not just the D's. So don't go there. By the time you realize he done slid it in on you, you ain't gonna know what to do. The Big G work in a way, let me tell you, he don't care how you feel about him. He don't. I know different sides of the Big G. And it's because he don't say nothing. Now say I'm capping. When stuff is happening to you, he won't say nothing. He don't care if you're an angel, a D, he don't care if you're a fish, a baby, he don't care. Cause what he gonna say is, I done put something in place for that. One of these individuals say, now I know I'm important. God, like God is at her beck and call. I don't really call on him every day, but today, now this is happening to me in my house and my family. God, I can sit here and listen to everybody and their mama and grandmammy go through it, but now that it's happening to me, God, in that voice. Some of y'all done been through so much. You say, well, he ain't real because he wouldn't allow this to happen and whoop, 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 whoop. And I'm telling you, he is very real and he allowed it to happen. I told you. I told you. The thing about me, right, is I ain't got much to lose. You know what I'm saying? I didn't walk away. I didn't walk away from all of it. So it's like I'm all in agreement. If all the angels had to be in agreement for him to say, whoop wop, it's done. If we all had to be, it'd be a wrap for a whole bunch of people. I'm telling you right now. Because we all sit back and just say, why are you taking so long? Why is this, we all in agreement with that. All the elect ones, all fractions, all types of angels, even the ones out in different galaxies, they like, listen, we done. He said one time, if my job say that she wants it on the car one more time, I'm going to do it in that voice. I said, I want all the anaconda, na, I want them all everywhere. I said, I want an ill na too. I want all the nanas. Every last one of them. I don't know what an na is, but I want that too. Y'all, I'm serious about it. When you ain't got much to lose, and you like, wait a minute, I just keep getting dangled out, like bait. You know what I'm saying? And what can you say? It's the big G. So you like, if this was anybody else, we have some problems. It's the big G. So you like, listen, yeah. You just at the minute, you just sit there and just be like, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, sure, fine. You know what I'm saying? Because I just said 17 different ways in 17 different languages somewhere. I want it to be over. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, you hear, it's done. It's complete. It's over. And then it start all over again. Like, wait a minute. How many universes is it? What's going on? Because you don't know nothing. You know? It's impossible for you to know everything that's going on with his creation. And I said, I even went as far to say, you created all this, not me. Why is it on my shoulders? You know what I'm saying? Why you put the weight of the word on me? You know? This me, I'm just a cherub. This they, you know what I'm saying? It's their fault. You know what I'm saying? I done did that. It's the original's fault. They was here before me. And y'all know I'm serious. Look, listen. That's after a while, you just be like, look, I didn't have nothing to do with this. I don't even remember none of that lives. It's for a reason. It's them. Why why you not doing it? Why you not doing this to them? And then little by little, right, y'all, stuff that has happened to them come out. And they stoic about it. No emotion at all. Y'all wouldn't be able to fathom the type of stuff that happened to some of the originals. You would say if the Big G had let that happen to them, then I already know why I'm going through this. Some of y'all gonna say, oh, I couldn't donate because I had to pay for my Sports Illustrated subscription. I could not donate because it's my nail appointment. I always get $200. I always spend $200 worth of nails. So you cannot expect me to cut into my expenses. It's important because I know what's coming. They say when a chair, right, specifically a chair, my class, cries for you, that means he's lenient. I done dried up. I'm gonna put a fan. I'm gonna put a fan on my eyelids. I'm for sure about it. I'm gonna put a fan on my eyelids. I'm gonna have dry eye for a whole year. He done cultivated me so good right now. The old me is gone. It's gone. The caring me, the empathetic side of me, that's completely gone. That evolved. Cause I know what I'm dealing with. Some of y'all like that too. Okay, see what it is with me, y'all, and this is what I suggest for my members, especially those of you that are up there in the tiers. What I suggest for you to do is to do it now. Let me say something. You cannot save enough money to overthrow the big G. I'm telling you right now. If you think it's about saving your money, you already know. You'll go to that ATM and everything will shut down. Y'all already know. So don't even think of it. Don't even think it. Because you're not gonna be able. Let me tell you, the big G is the big G. He already know what you thinking before you gon' say it or think it. Y'all remember, don't act like y'all don't remember when all of them institutions, shut down and everybody was like, wait a minute. They said I'm gonna start putting my money in the shoebox. You think? That old trick, I'm gonna hide my money in the mattress, you think? I'm telling everyone because y'all need to know. If you know you good right now, and you doing what he asking you to do, or what the archangels, don't go to no other type, because let me tell y'all think y'all communicating with angels and stuff, and y'all is not. You're not gonna bypass me and say now I'm connected. Like you can't expect me to be the Feist. My whole entire life, I'm the Feist, and you with me a couple of months, a few years, and now all of a sudden, it's good. You got it don't work like that. I said it took this whole lifetime, but y'all don't realize that I've been living somewhere at some other point in my life. More than one. So it's not that easy. When I said I'll do a universe reading, nobody said, let me, it's Thanksgiving. Let me do this for somebody. I don't need it per se, but somebody else may need it. And this is the reason why he is the way he is. I'm telling you. This is why y'all say I'm not where she at. And you Skippy with that. I'm talking about thick, crunchy Skippy. You are not where I'm at. I said, Big G, put my content where I am at. Let me build here. Just take my content out of every other place. No. Why I gotta always be in observance somewhere where I'm doing bad? I gotta observe where I'm doing bad. This is the reason why we're not, because somewhere, let me tell you something. When you say that, Michael, he's just one, but you're the one that they want to highlight. Well, yeah, get off. I'm still going to talk about it. When you say stuff like that, the anakanana that is observing you says he is one of them, because he feels like he is where all of the content creators and the celebrities are the most successful because of their views. This is one of the ones that believe if something were to happen to you, that he could go into the system and fix everything to where it'll come to him. So he is just going to be mum's the word, because that's what he say. This is a black dude. He's just going to be mum's the word. He's not going to say nothing because he feel like he know how to get into the system. It's a burr in here. He don't give not one F about what you got to take care of, who you got to take care of, the people that he live with. He don't care about nothing. I have to be like this, y'all, because the sides that y'all see of individuals is not the same that I know that they are, because they want to use you. At least I'm offering you some spiritual enlightenment, some spiritual currency that'll be good later on. At least I'm giving you that. And if you're up there on the financial tier and you happen to be a business owner or you're thinking about being, when you're getting guidance with that, if I can guide you on who is doing what to you, who's did what to you, even if you don't believe that you have a universe parent or that you came from an original, you don't believe in reincarnation and incarnation, you believe in that money. He's like talking about he don't believe in spirits, but he calling on Ogun. Ogun is not a spirit, but that's what you call him. Anybody that he feel made some money, he gonna call on who he think they're calling on for money. Before it was Coopteville, y'all know. I'm gonna key my SOUL for bread. Y'all know that's what they did. I'm gonna sell it because I ain't got nothing. Now, and now I'm telling you the reason why that happened to him. And now all of a sudden they the bad ones because they didn't fulfill the contract. He was gonna do it anyway. It's not the fact that he wanted to sell it, but the fact that Coopteville didn't honor the contract and give him no money. This is how these ones think. My era, we like, what? You gonna sell your what? To who? Because we was taught that you don't mess with Coopteville. That's how I was taught. Don't mess with Coopteville. Out of everyone that I mentioned, you knew Coopteville was someone that you just don't mess with. And he's an archangel. These ones, they get mad because he ain't do it. He wasn't doing it then either. That was that Aussie Phil that you call on. The one that likes to buy your children for the next life. Y'all feel like, man, that's not no. But when Ray J put it in the air where it's fair, and he came on and said, I own your child, y'all couldn't say that no more. They'll buy you in the next life. And this is why I say that they need it. This is why I say that. This is what I'm saying people like, what is his name? Alfie David. People like Alfie David is needed. Now, get mad. I'm saying they need it because y'all don't think fat meat greasy. And if he wasn't as bold to come out and say it to y'all wouldn't understand that he there. I'm glad. I applaud him for coming out and saying whoop, 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 whoop. Because now you know that it is possible, and now you know that people do it. That's why I'm happy. Let me tell you something. Some of you, the only reason why I'm elaborating on this is because some of you are going to go through it, right? Because you're like me. You're saying, I am going to get a job. You know what he gonna do? He gonna make it to where nobody call you. I'm just telling you because you're like me. If he wants you to do a certain thing, he wants you to do a certain thing, and that is it. My whole life. Now, the Shaktis is the one that made this plain and simple for me. It is because that is what happened to them, so they already knew. 3 years, Ether, that's all you got. You're going to struggle for 7 and you're going to have 3 of abundance. Why is that? Everything's silent. When y'all know, because some of y'all do know, some of y'all are speculating, and some of y'all think because you bound someone in a past life or you feel like you did a destiny swap that you now have their universe parents. Y'all don't get it. This is what I have to go through. Some of y'all paying me to go through it. So, whatever. But the ones that sit back and and they sit back and they say such and such and such and such, I'm such and such and such and such. And then you go to work and you talking to that person, you thinking that that person is one of them. You know, you almost know it, but your daughter then did a confusion spell on you the night before, and you think she doing it on me, or son, or whatever. You know, yes, yeah, that's a living example. Y'all right. Listen, some of y'all say what Ether is saying is accurate because the crucifix, the three, because there's not there. A lot are not educated enough to know these stories, these different stories about Jesus and Yeshua. When I said I'm not saying the third one, it is for a reason. You all know, some of you that listen, whether if it was in church or not, you know there was three up there. This is what they do. Because in that time, in that timeline, it wasn't angels that they did that to. This came about when they figured that the cherubs were the nice ones. They go through all of them, right? They made themselves angels. All the ones that I don't talk about. Let me just put it. All the ones that I don't talk about, they made themselves angels. They started making contracts. Massive on the salt washing. It came out in the reading. Some of y'all are saying, Danasa, I'm not going to say the name because y'all don't know the right name. I know it, but y'all don't know the right name. I'm just going to say Dashiki, because that's what one of you goofies be saying anyway. Dashiki, make me a son of Cole. I'm telling you, this is an upset, so go ahead and say it. I know what you want to be made into, but it's not going to happen, Cap. It's not that simple. You're not going to just go and pick bodies and beings like it's a smorgasbord. You at a buffet. I'm walking down the street. He has a nice car. She has a nice, I want her as a wife. This is what these do. This is what they do. Y'all be like, it's not possible. Why it's not if the big G say it's going to happen? If the big G say it's time for you to learn your lesson, it's time for you to fulfill this contract. You know what I'm saying? I've been trying, I've been telling you, woo, 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 but I done gave you so many signs, I done gave you so many opportunities, you know, and you still. I'm not one that keep asking. Like, I don't be like, big G, big G, big G. God, if you do this for me, God, if you do me. The last time I asked the big G for something, I was 19 years old. And I'm talking about where you just down and out and you feel like you need him. You know what I'm saying? Like little stuff pertaining to my relationship and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm talking about where he really know you mean it. You know, big G, if you just do this for me, please. It's always your livelihood or your freedom. Your livelihood or your freedom. That's the two. That's when you know, some of y'all be y'all relationship. I ain't even do that. I ain't say, oh God, bring them back to me. No. You know what I'm saying? That's strange and unusual to me, because if they leave, then that, they wasn't supposed to be there in the first place. Now I didn't got mad. I done thought about some things, but when you got children, you being there for them comes first. And so that's what saved me. Not everybody think like that. Some people make mistakes that cost them their whole life. I'm gonna think about it. And if it has anything to do with somebody outside of myself, it's a no-go. I didn't learn that in my 20s. I'm not fighting myself for you, on a promise. That's just not gonna happen. I'm so serious about it. And some of y'all need to adapt that, because you realize that you are living loud and proud, and a lot of people have a lot of money and a lot of zeros off of sensationalizing you. Nature Boy made that a thing when he was out. You know what I'm saying? He said he was feeding a lot of people, buying a lot of homes, and he was right. He was so hot. You know, you when you seen certain content creators, you didn't know nothing outside of what they had to say about Nature Boy. That's how hot he was. Say I'm capping. They ain't got nothing else to say about nothing but Nature Boy. That's how that he was a movement. Y'all know he was a movement. Some of y'all feel like y'all not gonna say that y'all were supporters of him because of the situation that he in. But he has so many support. I'm one of the ones that said I wouldn't ever be out there and don't get it twisted now. Come on, it's me, Ether. What I'm gonna do out there? What y'all think I'm gonna do out there if somebody can't? I like the city. The point of me bringing that up is y'all followed him, first of all, because he was a dude. And y'all felt like he was living a lifestyle that you wanted to live, the polygamous lifestyle. That he was getting handouts and this and that. Y'all don't know before he was a teacher. I feel like at some point he started off with good intentions. At some point he had good intentions. But as he started shifting in his mind, you started seeing different versions of him. He's a good example. Every other day he was recreating himself. One minute he was Ogun, the next minute he was a chief. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? He had Orishas and all that. When he got to the Orishas, I was like, don't do that. Don't do that. But it was a spell. Y'all, why y'all acting like? Why y'all acting like y'all didn't know he had the icky shuffle and he didn't have the graveyard match done on him. He had the icky shuffle and drop it like it's hot. Oh yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know how they'd be like, I am king, I am the Don, I can have this one, that one, and you didn't have several of the wrong ones. Because when these ones get mad, they go and put your name in a honey jar. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all know what I'm talking about? That combined with I am Ogun, that just sealed the deal right there. That was all she wrote. You know what I'm saying? Because after that, he was crashing into the side of houses and all kind of stuff. You know what I'm talking about? It's just not a good look. That is a public example of why you don't call on, not to call on Ogun. Like a lot of y'all know, be like, Ogun, nah, I am good. He has that. People have that belief about Ogun worldwide. So if you were to say you called on Ogun and commanded Ogun to do something, they would say he is cray-cray. Because you just don't want to do that. That is not conducive of your health. That is it.